save a record in multiple tables from a single form using ASP.NET code. So for the demo, we'll assume we're following our models EMP with for EMP ID, EMP name, DPT name, mobile number, address, email ID, and another model EMP salary with EMP salary ID, EMP ID, basic sal, TA, DA, HR, and deductions. So we'll create single form to perform the CRUD operations for EMP and EMP salary, both together. Let's go to the Visual Studio. Sorry. Let's say create new project here. ASP.NET Core empty application. We'll say multi-table CRUD example. We'll say next. So without HTTPS, create. Let's create the model classes. So the first thing that we'll do is we'll create the folder structure, add the models folder, controllers folder, and we'll add the views folder. No need to add the views folder, we'll add a controller, EMP CRUD. Now we'll create a view for the index. So right click here, we'll say add view. So we'll say index.cshtml. Now here we'll say HTML. Even it. Okay. Now here we'll create the models. The first model that we'll do is EMP. And here we'll say proc and 64, EMP ID, EMP name, DPT name, address, email ID, mobile number. Okay. Now let's create the another model. Right click here, we'll say class, EMP sal, we'll say in 64, EMP sal ID, decimal, basic, PA, DA, HRA, and deductions. Now create the employee ID as a foreign key. Now create a virtual property. EMP with EMP, foreign key, EMP here. Okay. Now let's install the packages to create the context. So the first thing that we'll do is EF core plus entity framework core will match the version latest 8.0.24 or whatever version that you are using. Relational design SQL Server tools. Okay. Now install one more thing if you want to use the navigation properties. And if you do not want to use the navigation properties, we can use the jar. So I want to use the navigation properties. So I'll install one more package here, process. Okay. Now the next thing that we'll do is I'll create the context class. I'm going to read this class from baby context. Now I'll create a constructor here with options and we'll create this too. Now let's create the connection string here. Scar, Resource, initial catalog, trusted connection, trust server certificate. Two. Copy. Okay. Now I'll register the context here. So the first thing that we'll do is we'll activate the MVC. Sorry, not here. So builder dot services dot add controls with view. Builder dot services dot add db context. So here we'll say company context. Use SQL Server and connection string name is com. Now sap dot map default controller route. Now I'll do the migration here. Now let's update dash database. Sorry. Now next thing that we'll do is we'll display the list of employee in index view. So I'll set that model. So I'll say INumable collection of. So I want to use the shortening here. So for this we need to add one folder under the views folder called shared. No need of shared. So we'll directly add view imports here. Add that using add that add tag helper. Okay, so here we'll say h2 emp list. Now I'll say tab. Okay, so next thing that we'll do is we'll use the navigation property. So I forgot to create the navigation property here in imply. But we are sure that there will be only one salary for one employee. So even though it's collection, we'll get the first in default and then we can use the basic. So, so it should be the list of EMP sal, not the EMP. And then we'll use the basic here, PADHRA. Now on the task here, I'll create a hyperlink. Now once we click on this, it will take you to the create action. Let's add view. Now to create this form, since this form is attached with multiple model, so what we do, so we'll use view model to create this particular form, or you can call it as DTO. So here we'll say DTOs, or we'll create a class emp create DTO. So what I need the properties from both models. So I'll just copy these properties here, and again we'll copy the property here. Both. No need this, and no need of this. So whatever you want to input, you create the property for it. Now I'll connect this to model and empdto. So for that we'll go to the views, so form create label emp name will create an input for address. Email ID, mobile number, dpt name, basic t, d, hrv, deductions. Okay. Now I'll say schedule post. So the first thing that will do the model binding, will do the validation if any. Okay. If there is a validation error, we'll go back to the view with the model object. If no validation error, so I will try to save. So at the first step, what you do, so create an object for a primary key model, a key model. So emp equal to new emp and load the data into this using create DTU. And for emp model, we need a model namespace. Now once you do that, create the object of foreign key model and load the data. And in our case, it will be emp sal and load the data from this. Now, so we want emp ID to be the foreign key inside the emp sal table. So in the next step, so these two are related with emp sal property. So what we need to do, so add the foreign key to primary key object selection property of type foreign key. So go to the employee, and in employee we have the employee sales property, and in that we'll say add and we'll say something called this here. And at the end add the primary key object. So this start, we need a context object here. We'll ask for the context object using the construct injection. Let's say this starts the c dot emp slash dot add is. Also this starts the c dot okay. Now this will get you one error. Let's first run this and see the error. So run this application here. And we'll make a request to emp CRUD index. So it will give you error regarding the object reference. So what I forgot is the first step, we need to pass the data to index action. Okay, so we're getting the list here. I'll click on the create new, so it will get you the form. Let me put the breakpoint here. So I'll say support Sunil, negative Pune, sunil@hotmail.com, mobile number, department, basic, CA, DA, HRI, deductions, save. Now it will create a new employee object with this information, and then it will create new emp sal object with this information, Then we are adding a EMP sal object to EMP sal's collection from the employee object. Now here also it will get you the error object reference not set to instance. Now if you want to use any collection from any object, so first you need to allocate a memory for that particular collection. So how we can allocate a memory for that particular collection? So go to the EMP here. Now we want to add the object into this particular collection to create the primary key for we can say automatically with that. So we'll create a constructor and we'll allocate a memory for this using new keyword. So let's say EMP sal is equal to new list of EMP sal. Now let's run this. You need to do this every time when you want to save the data into the multiple tables, the multiple models together. So say create new. So hit the save. So first we are creating a primary key object, putting the data into it. Now it will initialize this list. And then we are creating this foreign key object. We are putting the data into it. Now no primary key foreign key added. So all other fields are kept here. Now then add and then save changes. Now it's showing this error regarding this. Let me check. It's saying the insert conflict with the foreign key constraint emp sal emp gpid conflict occurring there is emp the column emp id. Okay. First let me inspect the database here. So emp id primary key, no problem at all. So emp is sal id primary key and emp id is in foreign key here. Oh, sorry. I added the es now. We'll add the E object. Add the primary key object to the collection here. Add the primary key object to the collection. Okay, there is validation problem. So user could be email ID, mobile number, basic TAT, HR directions. Okay, now it had created the record. Now it's showing again object reference not set to an instance. Now this is happening due to navigation property, and for navigation property we need to use a proxy namespace here. So we need to use lazy loading proxies. Okay, so for lazy loading proxies, we need to install the package. Now run this. Now we are getting this record, and record get added into both the tabs. Fine. Now for edit, let's add the edit button. I'll add few more, but before that we'll add the ID and we'll say route dash ID equal to @emp. Now I'll create edit actions by copying these two actions here. So it's edit. We'll specify the ID here. Also where array equal to, so from t in this dot c dot emp where emp id, then we'll select data, so emp id, emp name, address, email id, and then we'll put this record into the view. Then we'll capture this data. So we'll add then let me check. Implement it. Now it's a modified save changes. Okay, so I do not have this ID. Now for ID, so what we'll do is the first step, delete foreign key record. Okay, find and update. Okay, so create new foreign key record and add it to primary key object. And then modify the primary key record. Call the save changes here. So go to the index here. I'll create one new record. Okay. Now let's edit the Sunil record. So it's saying view not found. Sorry, I forgot to create the edit view. This edit view will be just similar to create. Only difference is we need a EMP for model binding. And for that we are going to use hidden field. Okay, there is one more change. We'll submit it to edit action. Also edit here. Okay, it's complaining about the mismatch in the DTU. We'll pass the first or default. We know there will be only one record with this EMP ID. So we got the data. Now suppose I change this address to and mobile number. The basics I make PA, DA, HRA and deductions. Save. Now it will first remove the foreign record, then it will find and modify the primary record, create new foreign record, add it and save changes, and it will go to the index. Now if you look at here, you will find the newly modified record. Now similar fashion we can do the delete. I'll just copy this action, I'll paste it here. I'll say delete EMP ID. Paste it delete ID find. No, we can't go for that. So first find foreign key. Let's say var EMP sal equal to using EMP ID. So we need to use the for each here. If you're sure there is only one record, you can go with first or default. And then we'll do this and then we'll do this. Let's put the breakpoint. Now if I click on the delete, oh sorry, more change that I need to make. It's will double the user build it actually. Hit the delete. Okay, let me check. Now here, delete, find, remove, find, remove, save changes and exit. It will be deleted. Thank you very much.